I'm trying to determine which video transmitter to use on my new mini quad. I have a 250 milliwatt 5.8, a 600 milliwatt 5.8, a 200 milliwatt 1.3, and an 800 milliwatt 1.3. Uncertain how all of these would work in the environment that I normally fly, I mapped out of course and decided to walk the path with all of the transmitters in their various configurations and record what it looked like from the ground station. So you see on the screen, the red path is 1 point, and it is 204 meters from the ground station. The blue path is the furthest that I went, and it is 374 meters from the ground station. Now the test here is not to see the ultimate distance of the various transmitters, but to see the penetration. You can see the trees that the signal has to go through. Now it is wintertime at this point, so there are no leaves on the trees like you see in the picture. And the white part is the actual path that I took. In the videos that you'll see, I walked through the narrow path between the two wooded areas first, and then headed back to the furthest distance where the blue line points. So you'll see the first clip where I walk through the narrow path, and then I cut the video. Since I am walking, it takes a little bit of time. But you'll see then a bale cage at the furthest point where I make a turn, and then I walk over some hay that's on the ground, and I make another turn and start heading back toward the ground station. This is the 5.8 250 milliwatt transmitter. You can barely make it out, but there's the bale cage, and there is the hay on the ground. And now I'm heading back. Here are the same scenes with the 1.3 gigahertz 200 milliwatt transmitter. And here's the 5.8 gigahertz 600 milliwatt transmitter. And here is the 1.3 gigahertz 800 milliwatt transmitter. Now with 5.8, it's easy to have a diversity receiver setup where you can have a skew planar on one side and a 5-turn helical, for example, on the other. And I happen to have that set up, so I went ahead and did the 5.8 250 milliwatt transmitter, which is what you're looking at here. But on the receiver, I have a 5-turn helical antenna. So you can see the difference here of what the helical antenna does for 5.8. When we get to 1.3 gigahertz, it's a little bit more difficult to set up a diversity configuration. Maybe not more difficult, but the antennas are larger and it deals with a lot more ground station equipment. So for me, it's not practical to do that just to go out and fly my mini quad. So I do not test the diversity with 1.3. So here is the same scenes again. In the upper left is the 5.8 250 milliwatt. In the lower left is the 5.8 600 milliwatt. The upper right is the 1.3 200 milliwatt. And lower right is the 1.3 800 milliwatt. And I think from these tests, in conclusion, I'm going to take the 5.8 600 milliwatt transmitter simply because it does the best stock and then you add on top of it a simple helical antenna on the ground station, i.e. no additional weight on the quadcopter, and you get a very noticeable improvement on top of that. I tried to do everything consistent, but when I got out to the field, I did realize that my cable I had for the GoPro was not correct to hook up to the Immersion RC video transmitters on 5.8, so I wound up using a Mobius on that. But I don't think that that affects the overall result, which is the static that you see whenever the signal gets weak.